Hi, Math 2 students. Miss Morel here in my makeshift office in my back room. All right. Hopefully you've already watched the first video, which was on the intro to interior angles and exterior angles. So today we're going to look at how could we find the sum of all of those interior angles using some patterns that we might be able to see. So I'm looking on the first page of the packet, which is a 3-week packet. This is starting for the week of April 13th, 2020. And you don't have to copy all of this down. If you have access to a printer, make a copy. If not, just write this down on your own paper. Okay, so that first one is a triangle, and I'm seeing n equals 3. That's referring to the number of sides, and we already know that's 180 degrees. So looking at the one to the right of it, I have a quadrilateral, n equals 4. Looks kind of like this. And we got our 4 sides. So if I broke this up into triangles that are only using the interior angles, so I could go ahead and break it this direction, or I could have gone this direction. Here's one triangle. Notice it uses that interior angle and part of the other two. And then the other triangle, right? I have 2 triangles that uses this angle and then the other 2 parts, right, of those angles. And I notice that all 4 of them add up to those 2 triangle angles. So that means there's 2 triangles, 2 times 180 degrees. That gets me 360. So that tells me that a quadrilateral is always going to have angles that add up to, and I should clarify that, interior angles that add up to 360. Let's go ahead and put that down the bottom of that table. All right, looking at the next one, n equals 5. That means I have a 5-sided figure. So using the same process, if I break this up into triangles, I could start here, I could start here at any one of those vertex points. Break this up, I have 1 triangle, I have 2, I have 3. So those interior angles are going to be equal to the angles in those 3 triangles. 3 times 180 degrees, I get 540 degrees. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do those other 3, the 6-sided, 7, and 8. So just pause the video and do those. All right, hopefully you've finished those. All right, and hopefully you maybe noticed or you kind of sensed that there's a pattern that is happening here, right? I noticed that when I had a 4-sided, I get 2 triangles. When I have a 5-sided, I get 3 triangles. When I have a 6-sided, I get 4 triangles, right? And an 8-sided, you got 6. So it was always 2 less than the number of sides. So we can actually use that. So I'm going to put down angles of, actually let me rewrite that a little bit better. I'm going to say that the sum of interior angles will always end up being n minus 2, with n being the number of sides, times 180 degrees. So I can use this to find the sum of any polygon. And again, it's not just one, it's the sum of all the interior angles. So for example, on the first page, got some problems. It asks like to find the sum of a 35-gon. Well, a 35-sided polygon, I would do 35 minus 2, which is 33, times 180, and I'd use a calculator to get that answer. All right, okay, next concept. Flip it over, next page. Notes look kind of like this. I'm going to disregard this. I'm just looking at these pictures to kind of help me look at exterior angles. Okay. So we just talked about the sum of the interior angles of any polygon will be n minus 2 times 180 degrees. So what about the exterior angles? We also noticed in the pattern that as the number of sides went up, the angles measures inside also went up. So what about the exterior angles? So that first picture, we have a triangle, looks kind of like this. Okay, we know that these three angles add to 180 degrees. All right, so for example, if I put down, let's say that this is 60 degrees. All right, then this has to be 120. And let me just keep it simple. What if I said this was 60 degrees as well? Okay, then that's 120. And if I said that was 60 degrees as well, meaning I have a regular triangle, then this is also 120. What did those three add up to? Those exterior angles add up to, looks like 360 degrees. Okay. Now we might think maybe that's not the case with every triangle. So what if I changed it a little bit? What if I said, you know what? This one's 40 degrees. Okay, well that makes this 140. But notice those three still add up to 360. Okay, what if I changed that? What if I said, oh, that this was 10 degrees? Okay, well that's 170. Those still add up to 360. So they are adding up to 360 in that triangle. Now what about, let's jump to a quadrilateral. So what if I have quadrilateral, it's looking kind of like this. Oops. Extend that a little bit. It's going like this. Kind of looking like that. Okay. Okay. So we just talked about a quadrilateral. They add up to 360. So what if I had, that this is 100 degrees? Okay, so if that's 100 degrees, that's 80. Okay. What if I have that, this one's 60? Okay, then that would be 120. What if this one was also 60? That's 120. What if this one's 140? Okay, then that's going to be 40. So I'm just kind of randomly right now choosing some different angle measures, but the four of these must add to 360. Okay. Now what about the exterior angles? We know that these two add to 180. I notice 120 is 240, plus 80 plus 40 adds to 360 again. What if I had changed some of these like previously? What if I put that was 70? Well, then that's going to become 10. It's still going to be 360. So the sum of exterior angles always adds, I'm going to put here, of any polygon, always adds to 360. What I'd like you to do, just so you understand that a little bit better, is choose some different values for the pentagon and the hexagon and double check that yes, they're adding. But make sure, of course, your interior angles are adding to 540, your interior angles are adding to 720, and just double check, is that always working? Okay? All right, we will be talking more about this. This will be one of the main topics that we're focusing on this week. Okay, interior angles and exterior angles. All right, guys, any questions? Shoot me an email, call me on my cell phone. You have it, send me a text, and I'll help you with it. Okay,